All right, welcome to the second episode of this week. We skipped a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know,
We
maybe
skipped two
maybe
months, I
three
think.
weeks. I don't know. I was at the beach, and then you were in.
I was
Where
in
were you?
Charlotte, Ohio. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You just got back from Ohio. Yeah. Well, we
Yep.
didn't we? The first episode we did right after you got back from Charlotte, right? So
I think so, yeah, because
yeah,
that was when the Iran shit happened. So we just talked about that. But
yeah. But anyway, we were talking about Megan Kelly right before we went on air, and but she's a she was the one that was doing the Fox debate where Trump made the Rosie O'Donnell joke in like 2015.
uh,
She was the one asking the question that she's a blonde lady. She's very like she's really like I like her though, but she doesn't work for Fox anymore. Nobody works for Fox anymore. so
yeah, seriously.
uh
It's I was watching the interview with Tucker Carlson and George Santos, if you know who that is.
yeah, no, I know who George Santos is, and I haven't seen that interview yet. But I saw where he was like, because he's about to go to prison, right? And he was talking about like the everything that went on in Congress that nobody talks
Clapping
about.
buns. Clapping buns and then getting hammered like every day basically.
Yeah,
The first time I saw George Santos, it was when he was doing the Matan. Do you know who Matan is?
no, I don't know who that is.
It's the dude with like he's like a young kid. He has black like curly hair, and he interviews like Howie Mandel, all these random guys, but he does that accent where he's like,
Ah, okay. I've seen clips of it. I know
yes,
what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, I
yeah.
know
So
what you're
that's the
talking
first
about.
time I saw him. But then when he was on Tucker Carlson's, I was watching it before you hit me up. But it's crazy that he was just like he's going to jail for 7 years for over $50,000 of like misused campaign money,
It's just
and then
because, yeah, if he had $50,000 in misused campaign money, but he was running for like a state senator and nobody knew who he was, then nobody would give a shit. Nobody would care.
I'm saying, and then it was just he just basically said, "Fuck it, I'm going to jail and my political career's over." So I'm gonna like shit talk basically every congressman or woman in there. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, no, I. George Santos is he, um, he's gay, right? Or is
No,
he okay? So he's like, wasn't he on a some kind of like drag show or something? I
George
swear.
Santos was.
Yeah, I think so. I thought so. Was he not?
There's no way, actually.
I don't know. I'm gonna look
Not
here. Let me
George,
see.
dude.
I want to see, but I'm pretty sure George Santos drag.
He's
Yeah,
funny as shit, though. I'm
look at
not gonna
this.
lie.
Yeah, he dressed up as a. He revealed drag
Oh no.
secrets, and he dressed. He had a red. He was wearing red, and he had like a. He had like a whole necklace thing going on. Interesting. That's yeah, that's something. Okay.
Are you gonna vote for Elon Musk's American Party?
yeah. Oh, July 9th, the Zimmerman telegram decryption begins. Do you know about the Zimmerman? I'm sure everybody like they teach that in school like it's the most meaningful thing about World War I, and I think it's funny. But
Yeah, I feel like I don't know too much about it, but I feel like I don't need to because I don't
they
like.
literally
Is it that big of a deal, or am I like?
well, basically all it was Germany sent a because we had in the years prior with Teddy Roosevelt and everybody, we had taken a lot of land from Mexico. And Germany sent a telegram to Mexico that was intercepted by it was either the French or the British, I can't remember who. Intercepted I think it was the British intercepted this telegram that the Germans were sending to Mexico that basically said if you will invade America and cause problems, then once this war is over, we'll use our new influence in Europe to give you some of that land back in America that you lost. And then the British intercepted it, and the Germans. This is what's so dumb about it. The Germans could have easily said, that's just British propaganda to try to pull America into the war with you to get them to help. Like that, we didn't do that. Like we're not trying to start anything. But nope, they were like, nope, it was us. We did it. We wanted it. We offered it, and there's no denying it. Literally, like so.
War?
What?
That was before the war or during?
That was in 1916. That was before we
Oh
entered the
yeah.
war.
Oh okay. Yeah, because we entered in 1917.
It was in 1917, July 9th, 1917, and that was what caught. That was like our final straw of. But
Also feel like we were trying to find any reason on Earth to go into World War One too.
yeah,
Like literally any single like anything that happened. Like if
that's
there was a heavy rainstorm that maybe Germany was practicing technology on, we were gonna use that to go fucking overseas with Teddy Roosevelt.
that's the interesting thing about World War One is the fact that like everybody was in it not for. I mean, there were some specific war gains, but it wasn't a like it wasn't anything like World War Two where it was like bad guy, good guy, whatever. World War One kind of happened almost because there hadn't been a war in a while, and there were a bunch of new ships and a bunch of new weapons and a bunch of new gas, and everybody kind of just wanted to try it out. So then they found an excuse to do that.
Yeah, and Woodrow Wilson, he didn't even want to go into war, and then Teddy Roosevelt was basically like, if you don't go to war, you're a pussy. And then that's when yellow journalism started, if you
Yeah,
know what that is, where they
yeah,
basically just tap and they're
yeah,
like I was saying, like, oh, they're heavy rainstorm, Germany's
yeah.
working on technology, it's all them.
Yellow
So then Woodrow
journalism.
Wilson's like, fuck it, we gotta go.
Yeah,
And
basically the
then
beginning of the bullshit media today that we have. Well,
yeah,
not
seriously,
yeah.
it started in World War One, and it started like around that was I don't know if you remember this from history, but the pictures of the meat inspections
Mm.
where they put in the meat inspection
Hmm.
act when they just had Teddy Roosevelt.
Hmm.
It was like a cartoon Teddy Roosevelt fucking they're making comic books of him and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then but no, World War One, like you still can't even find like an actual reason of why we went into World War One. Like you actually like it's like the most bullshit, like illegal submarines or whatever.
Yeah, well,
It's
our
kind of dumb, but
yeah, I think it was just like at the beginning we said that we were neutral, and we weren't neutral because we were economically helping Britain the whole time. And so everybody, makes this German blockade, their submarines out to be the they were literally the worst people on earth for doing this, even though the Allies imposed a blockade on Germany before that, and Germany imposed their blockade in response to stop us from sending shit over to England and France. So that was what caused us to enter, was because we were trying to help Britain and then Germany. I will say though, something a lot of people don't know about World War One, or I don't know, maybe a lot of people do know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just full of shit. But I don't feel like a lot of people know about this. That before the German blockade, before their submarines would sink American ships or British merchant ships, French merchant ships, whoever, they would literally say, we're going to board you in X amount of time, get off the ship, or we will sink it. We just want to sink the stuff that's on it. We don't want to hurt anybody. We just want the supplies destroyed. And on top of that, beforehand, they put ads in newspapers in like New York, in Philadelphia, in Charleston, places like that. Germany did, saying, don't come. Do not get on ships and try to travel over here right now, because if you do, we are going to try to sink the shit that's on it. So don't do it. And then, people did it anyway. Now you can argue whether or not it makes it any better that they warned them and then killed them afterwards. I don't know, but at least they warned them.
yeah, I mean, I was asking my grandma this earlier, not to go. This is kind of on subject, but not really. Was are we still allies with France or no?
Yeah, yeah, no,
We
France
are.
is. Yeah, I mean, it's still us, England and France are still really and I guess Germany, but mostly us, England and France and Canada.
I feel like Germany has to be our friends because are they aren't they still paying us back from World War One?
They're still paying us back from not, as far as I know, I don't think they're paying back reparations from World War One, but they're still paying back money that we loaned them after World War One, and then the stock market crashed, and we asked them to pay it back, and they're still paying that back. Yeah.
Yeah, JP Morgan gave out the loan.
Yeah.
The Titanic.
No, I know. Yeah, that was literally. We talked about that in the first episode.
I didn't know if it was the first episode or on that kick stream.
Actually,
It's
no,
one
it
of the
was on
two.
the kick stream. It was on the yeah, it was on the kick stream.
Yeah. But
Oh, okay.
well, it's crazy too.
Germany
Okay, go ahead.
finished
Yeah.
paying off its World War One reparations in 2010. The final payment totaling 70 million euros was made on October 3rd, finally settling the debt from the Treaty of Versailles. So,
So it took 100 years to pay off what JP Morgan's bank made in the treaty
mhm,
from their bank that they loaned.
yep,
That's actually fucking insane.
100 years,
That's actually 100 years.
100 years, and think about inflation. I mean,
That's that's why they. I mean, why do we think that they were pissed off? I don't blame them. It literally ruined their whole country,
well, see,
and they
the
weren't even
biggest.
like the. Go ahead.
Well, I was like the thing with Germany and France, and like America, Canada, Britain obviously sacrificed a ton of lives and equipment and supplies in the war, but they didn't they weren't fighting in London, they weren't fighting in Philadelphia, they weren't fighting in Toronto. Like they were fighting in France and in Germany. That's where all the shit, all the destruction was. So yeah, it's from that standpoint you have to. I mean, it's just yes, we were fighting too, but it's just a completely different thing. I mean, a war hasn't been fought in America since for almost 200 years now. So it's like nobody even knows what that would feel like.
Yeah, because I feel like since we're so Ronald Reagan, what's it called? Peace or strength through what is it?
Peace through strength.
Yeah, peace through strength. That
Yeah.
we just it's only foreign affairs where that we like intervene and like they'll never come to us because they if someone hypothetically besides maybe like I don't know, let's just scratch that. If someone fought on American soil, they'd be turned into a parking lot in like a week. That's
Well, I
that's the
think that's
problem.
a fun topic, like a hypothetical invasion of the U.S. Like,
I think China would be the only people that would potentially beat us. I think. But that was also a hot take when I said that like a month ago
I,
to someone. I forget who it was, but I brought that up. I was like, I think China could beat
I
us because
think
they
it
have
was
intel.
me, and I was like, I don't think I. Maybe it was me, but I disagree with that. Yeah, I don't think China would.
The only problem, so the only China has intel. I'm not saying they have more than us, but they definitely have intel on us. And then with how weak our electrical grid is, they could shut us off in like fucking 15 minutes. Like every state can be shut off in like a 30-minute span. So I feel like if you do that, but unless we turn them into a parking lot in like in 2 weeks, that's bad. And then that also just brings everything down, whether it's supplies or reinforcements or natural resources. If you shut off the electrical grid, one, it's going to cause panic, and two, it's going to stop the production of stuff. So,
I mean, that
and then
is,
our
yeah.
electrical grid is weak. That is a fact. They've said that. Hegseth said it. Multiple people have said it in government. But I think
If
Trump said it recently.
Well, my thing is, if the people in government are coming out like the people in charge now, not somebody running for office somewhere trying to bash the people that are in government, but if the people that are running the show currently are coming out and saying this is a problem and it's not a good thing, normally that makes me feel better about it in a weird way because it's like if they really think they're shit out of luck, they're not going to let somebody, know that they're down that bad, in my opinion. So,
I
like,
mean, that's not a bad point whatsoever. It's
yeah,
truly not. But
yeah.
at the same time, yeah, I get what you're saying. But I feel like we know nothing about China, and I feel like they know
And
everything about us.
that's
That's the
what I
problem.
see. That's where I think we probably know just as much, if not more, about them. Because the amount of people that have come to this country from China over the last 50, 60, 70 years, I just don't think there's no way that we haven't turned some of them into like insane operatives. There's no way that we haven't. Or even nowadays, you probably don't even need operatives. You just need somebody online sitting in a room somewhere. So it's
But
like,
yeah, you can. But the problem with that is you can flip that, and they're sending people to us that are also opt in
yeah.
China,
So
and we're not going
yeah,
to China.
then you get the
So
you get you get turning two ways and then three ways and then you get like a
yeah,
yeah. So I don't know. That's a but China, I think technologically they are ahead of us. But militarily, I don't think they are. But
that's what I'm saying.
technologically,
That's why
they are.
nobody will fuck with us because
Yeah,
we have
because
we
militarily, it's
have these B-2
still
bombers that can just fly across the world, come back the same day. Whether it did something or not in Iran
yeah.
is up for debate. But we do have the technology that you literally can't see on radar.
Yeah. Well, it definitely did. See, that's the thing is like it definitely did something. Like I don't know. I don't know if it set them back a month or if it set them back a year or 10 years. I don't know. But in my opinion, if like we talked about, if you thought they were actually close, then in my opinion, any kind of a setback is a success. If you thought they were genuinely close, especially something where they were out of airspace before they even knew that they were there. That's crazy. But the reason that I think militarily with China, 11 aircraft carriers to two, that's wraps. That's it. When there's an ocean that's separating us, and it's 11 aircraft carriers to two, that's it. No chance.
Are Russia and China allies?
Yeah, and Russia's only got two themselves. I think China might have three and Russia has two. But the UK's got two, France has one, Italy has one, Canada has one. So
I also feel like I said, I'm not trying to be like Mr. Socrates fucking Socratic method over here, but if we're America, just like you were saying when I was like the power grid sucks, but they're saying that they're not going to throw out a weak point, don't you think that we would under propagandize what they actually have going on to make us feel like, oh, if we went into a war, it's not that bad because they're not that good, but then
no,
in reality they are good
I agree
or like
with.
decent?
See, I agree with that. Yeah, no, I think the United States propaganda they definitely try to like make China out to be less than they are, but the numbers. I mean, and like I said, China. They're basically a dictatorship, so I don't know. They could be lying about the number of aircraft carriers they have, for all I know. Or it's kind of hard to hide an aircraft carrier, but um, regardless, I don't, the numbers that I'm like, I didn't get those numbers from like Fox News or whatever. Like it was from like the NATO, like official, like, So I don't think, I don't think those numbers are that far off. They might be a little off. Like, everything's propagandized. Like everybody has some bias one way or another.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you think China gives us our hardest matchup if it were to come to that? Or like do you think like a Rush like what country do you think would give us the hardest battle? Hypothetically? Let's play a little fun game here. Right? Let's
hypothetically,
get
hypothetically, yeah, I think. Well, I think if it ever got to the point where Russia or China was genuinely challenging us, there's no way that they wouldn't jump in with each other. So yeah, it would be them, and then you got like North Korea,
yeah, so then who
obviously.
do we have?
We have all of Western Europe. We have the UK, we have France, Germany, Italy. We have also, but not just Western Europe. Now we have the Nordics. We have Finland. Sweden's joining. We have the Baltics. The we have Turkey. We have not to
Well, I didn't know
mention
Turkey was on our side. I thought they were good with Russia.
yeah no
I
Turkey.
didn't know
Well,
that.
Turkey's in NATO. So yeah, no, Turkey's in NATO.
I don't get it. Like I'm not saying like I know nothing about NATO.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
'Cause I don't even want to know about NATO.
NATO basically NATO is you were asking like who do we have? We have NATO.
Yeah.
That's who we have. We have everybody that's in NATO. So basically it's but NATO is like 98% us and 2% everybody else. Um but
So that's what okay, so let's say we go to war with Iran. We turn them into a parking lot in a month, I'd
no.
say. No?
Mm-mm. Well, it
You don't
depends.
think?
Depends the kind of war you're like. Are you talking about like a ground war, like we're sending tanks in there, or if it's a ground war, that's just
Iran
gonna
actually is
last a
really
long time.
Iran has a really good location of where they're at because they have mountains on the west, I think. And I think the east there's something else, but it's not mountains. I forget what it is. But they're basically guarded. But at the
Yeah,
same time, just technology wise, the B 2 bomber, I feel like we could turn them into a parking lot in a month. And ground war, maybe not because they are populated. But hypothetically, if it was just like, okay, we declare war with Iran, nobody's helping us, just one on one,
but
I feel
so
like
but what do you so what do you declare? Like I mean, realistically, I don't even. What's the capital of Iran? Tehran is the capital of Iran. So yeah, I mean, realistically, we could absolutely demolish Tehran and probably because think about Israel on their own took out all of Iran's air defenses basically between
that's because they
their.
already had people in there.
Well,
We don't have. I don't think.
you don't think we have people in Iran? We have people
Not
everywhere.
as much as them. I think they
Maybe
they
not as
literally
much
had
as the Israelis, no.
yeah they had Mossad agents like in parts
But
that were
Mossad
like of like
Mossad agents might as well be CIA agents,
I'm
honestly.
saying so. Yeah, I mean, fair, but they already had them like stationed in key points. They got the head nod, and then that's when they went crazy. They took out like 90% of their fucking what's it
Yeah.
called, their military staff or whatever, their high
Yeah.
ups and generals,
Yeah.
because they already were stationed there. I don't. I mean, we probably are, and I'm not gonna act like I know or don't, but I feel like they're so heavily invested because Israel's they have a lot of Arabs, and then if they are just flopping populations basically, and they're already stationed there, it's just like a sleeper cell about how we're scared of like, oh, if Iran's like, oh, sleeper cells in America, then that's kind of how it is, but they're more dumb than us, so
Yeah.
I don't know how
Well,
much damage they can actually do. But
they're a lot more. I don't know if they're just a lot more like disorganized. Like they're. I will say though, for a Middle Eastern country, they're not disorganized. They're pretty
well,
organized.
they worship a cube and they're inbred, so they're pretty dumb, but they are very like brother like Muhammad
That's true.
Islamic. So like they're willing to die for their cause,
Yeah.
but they are just it's like 24-year-olds. They're like, oh yeah, like my cooties, girls stay away. We're men, and then it's just a 4-year-old, and you just fucking uppercut one into the moon, and then it's
That's
just
true.
I don't know.
I mean, that's true. But that you also make another good point with what's the reason that we're like did somebody bomb DC or is this like a proxy issue? Because somebody attacks us, I think it would be a much different war than if it's just like the operation that we ran in Iran a few weeks ago. That can happen anytime, but it's a lot more to genuinely go in.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like every war is kind of a proxy war now. That's what they say anyway. I also feel like we're like the Hall of Fame gaslighters, where it's like, yeah, I think I mentioned this maybe last stream or in the kick stream where I was like, oh yeah, Ukraine sent missiles at Russia, but it was our missile, our intelligence, our guys pressing the button. It's like we're Hall of Fame gaslighters to where
Yeah.
we're never in a war, but we actually are in like every war. And that goes back to Reagan, peace through strength. Trump kind of has the same thing. All these neocons that are like, we have to do this. We have to be in foreign affairs, don't care about domestic, which is annoying, I think. But I feel like every war is kind of a proxy war, but we also gaslight people into thinking that we're just isolationist, but then we have people everywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. Anybody who the isolationists, that's we literally have like influence in every I was going to say every continent except Antarctica, but Antarctica we like own too. We've got like we got the North Pole with the Santa, you know. We got it all. Actually, wait, Antarctica's the South Pole, right?
I don't fight.
I don't know. I think Antarctica's the South Pole, not the North Pole. I don't know.
It's crazy that
They're both really
the
cold.
only time we've gotten world peace or unification was because, or we all signed to never go to Antarctica. Isn't
What?
that kind of weird? Every country signed to never go to Antarctica.
When? When was this?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I don't know the year, but basically, every time you try to go near Antarctica, there's people stationed there, and they
Actually,
all made
I
a,
know what you're talking about.
you know,
I saw a TikTok about that the other day.
yeah. So
Um,
like, that's the only time we've been unified and somehow everything. So
okay, it was
there's
signed
something
in
there.
December of 1959.
Damn, I
um,
didn't know it was that long
which
ago.
designates the continent for peaceful purposes, primarily scientific research, and prohibits military activities. While it doesn't explicitly ban travel, it does emphasize the importance of protecting the environment and cooperation
There
for
was,
scientific
I think, like two or
research.
3 days ago, there was like a 17-year-old that was flying a plane by himself over it, and he got like tracked down immediately because he was trying to go around the world. He was trying to pull like an Amelia Earhart at 17 years old and like go around the world. And he was over Antarctica, I think, either on accident or thought he could, and he got tracked down immediately. Had to stop. They sent him back, and that's what I'm saying. It's just weird that that's the only thing we've ever been partisan in the world on is Antarctica. That's because Santa's there, Garden of Eden's there. Who
We
knows?
don't know. Yeah, that's
Ice
it's
wall.
like somebody. I don't know. It's so bad that nobody's allowed to go there. I don't know. I mean, it could be.
My buddy thinks the Garden of Eden's there. He's also the biggest tinfoil hat guy literally in history.
No, no way.
Yes. Yes, he is. Believe it or not.
I think
He thinks the Garden of Eden's there and he thinks that we are Europe.
we are Europe. I can
So
see
like
that.
the Nile River is actually the Mississippi and the Euphrates is this and the pyramids, they try to hide the pyramids in America and try to say it's the
Yeah, it's in
Egypt
Memphis.
one. That's what I'm saying. Well, I don't
Ask
yeah, I mean
Persia.
I saw a thing about that. I don't know too much as I'm not good with like that, but he like firmly believes that's the case. Like so like when they talk about in his like history, like everything was overseas and not here, it's actually flipped. And we flipped, whether that was Pangea or whatever else.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this could be it.
Yeah, and he showed me some map where like we were Europe and the Garden of Eden was Antarctica and the
We
ice wall.
basically are Europe. That's true. We're Europe. We're South America. We're I don't know everywhere. Everywhere but something original.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I
Um,
just love I don't know. He's like every time I have like a fun conspiracy I just want to throw at him, I always just text him. Or like if he because he somehow knows every conspiracy known to man. We're not talking about the Denver airport. But
I'm trying to
every
think
time
of
I
a.
just have like an itch for something, I just send him a text and he just always gets back to me.
Let's find a good. I'm trying to think of a good conspiracy to talk about.
Uh I'm trying to think the one I know the most on.
Oh, I mean, we could obviously. I mean, then like literally, I would say probably the conspiracy theory I know the most on would be the whole like Hitler went to Argentina bullshit. That's like the Hunting Hitler. Have you ever seen that show on?
Yeah, with Tim Kennedy and
That show's so stupid.
yeah, I remember there was one episode where they had like a metal detector and they were going around and they're like, dude, there's something underground. We got to keep digging. And they just fucking like trying to do sonar underground to see if there were tunnels. And they're like, dude, there's a tunnel underground, man. That's where he came because there's documents here and we paid to go look. I
Yeah,
was like, dude,
yeah. I bet you did pay to go look. I bet you did.
no. There's definitely Germans from there
Oh,
in
tons,
that's what I'm saying. So that is
tons.
true. I feel like
Yeah, that
it's kind of
had
a wild goose
started.
chase.
That had started actually before, like almost World War II. That kind of started a little bit like after World War One, but then they would go the big numbers obviously after World War II because the Argentinian president, like their dictator, he loved like Nazi ideology. So he was like all about, so he was like y'all come here and actually the Argentinian government built the first jet fighter with plans from the Nazis and German scientists. The
Yeah, I
first,
mean, I feel like every country did that. Like we did that, Russia did that. I feel like every country, like, because Germany was so far advanced, it wasn't even close.
um,
But it's
but
just now it's I feel like Annie Jacobson, she's a journalist. She's a pretty famous journalist. I feel like she said she went to Argentina to find like ancestry of from World War II. And there's a whole town in Argentina that only speaks German. It's like a
yeah,
German town.
yeah,
So I feel like that's pretty. So people definitely fled there during it to escape whether it was the what was it fucking called? You
The
know what I'm talking about.
the Holocaust.
Not all that, but
I,
what was the where they like tried people?
oh, the Nuremberg trials.
There you go. Yes, I
Yeah, the
don't know why it
Nuremberg
was slipping
trials.
my mind, but
No, you're good. Yeah, the Nuremberg trials.
yeah, both sides fled, and I feel like a lot of the Germans went to Argentina because, like I said, if there's a full town of them with ancestors from that are
Yeah. Well,
whatever,
and a
and that's
lot
kind
of
of
them, a lot of them, I mean, like a lot of the head ones. Well, number one, either they ended themselves in Berlin or wherever because they like weren't going to be taken prisoner or tried or whatever. And then, but a lot of them just kind of took it, like they owned up to it and went to the trial. Not necessarily, well, not owned up to it, but they, they went on trial, and a lot of them denied it. Like Goering, he denied basically that they did anything wrong, and he said that anything that they did do wrong, that was people that were like those were the people that were directly running the camps. Like we didn't know about that. The Fuhrer, he didn't know about that. Like no, we didn't. Nobody knew anything about any of that was going on.
Schindler's List. It
Yeah,
was named Schindler's
yeah,
List.
literally, yeah.
Do you know about what's it called? I think Unit 731. Do you know about that?
Unit 731.
I think it's
No,
what it is.
I don't.
It's basically it was like you heard about the what was his name? The Doctor of Death from World War II.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I talked to his name was the Angel of Death. Are you talking about Joseph Mengele? Is that who you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So
No, I know a lot
basically,
about him.
in Japan,
Well, not a lot.
Unit 731 was a scientific experiment where they did what Mengele was doing, but like times 500. That's how we know like everything we've learned about like uh anatomy today is because of the experiments they did. So we know we're 70% water because of them. Uh we know how what is it? Asphyxiation. Like I like how I don't know. You get what I'm saying.
No,
They
I
did a
know
bunch
exactly.
of
I know what you mean. And it's so yeah. So the Unit 731 researchers, 12 of them were tried, kind of like the Nuremberg trials at
yep.
Khabarovsk. I think that's how you say that, Khabarovsk, in the Soviet Union in 1949. But the Harry S. Truman administration helped cover up the human experimentations and handed stipends to the perpetrators. The cover up of Japanese war crimes and biological warfare capabilities was motivated both by an interest in the data collected by the Japanese and by a desire to prevent the Soviets from gaining information. So that's another great example of a time during the Cold War where we just put up with something absolutely awful, something so dumb, just because it was anti-Soviet. It was just, it was anything that was anti-Soviet, we were all for. Especially Truman. I mean, like FDR was almost sympathetic to Stalin in some ways, and then Truman was absolutely hated the Soviets. So yeah, the Japanese, yeah, that exactly. That was sort of the beginning of the war, and then they had their own version of genocide. So it's yeah, no, I didn't know a lot about that, but that's interesting.
Well, if you think about it, where it's like how we the reason why we know about like this happens or like this happens because of this happens or this happens because this happens is because of like crazy experiments done on people. I just find it fascinating. Like, how do you I forget what all they did, and I was trying to look because like you ever like wake up at 3 a.m. and you're like, there's nothing going on. I'm just gonna doom scroll TikTok, and then you find a video and it's like Unit 731. It's like creepy music or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you're just like watching it, and you're just like, you know what, fuck it. It's 3 a.m. I have nothing better to do, so then you just fall on your watching, and you're seeing how like they basically the reason why we know about how humans are today is because they were just like torturing people in like 1940. I find that super fascinating.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that was, I mean, all the way back to, I mean, when you go back to even like medieval times, you get these like the household doctors, like you would have special, they called them like surgeon barbers sometimes, but the special people in your household if you had enough money that were there to perform medical procedures. And there were a lot of them that got, I don't know what the word is, like disbarred, but from medical, not from law. But they were, excommunicated from medical practice because they were carting off these, not all the way dead people that they said were dead so they could take them back to their place and do experiments on them. And like a lot of people thought Jack the Ripper was doing some kind of experiments on people. I mean, like the way he was, I mean, a lot of people thought he had to be either a butcher or a surgeon, like some kind of anatomical knowledge, because
Yeah,
he would take out like something as specific as like a kidney within like 45 seconds and be on down the road, and then he would like write about it in a letter. I mean, he had to know somehow.
yeah, it's like Leonardo da Vinci. He did the same thing. He would break into morgues, pull out people's bodies, and just study them.
Hmm.
That's how he made.
At
So
least they were dead,
fun
though.
fun fact of the what?
I said at least they were dead.
Yeah, yeah. So fun fact of the day: the reason he made the Mona Lisa smile so realistic is because he studied dead bodies because he broke into morgues. Because you know how it's like it's superhuman, like you can see like the
Yeah.
muscle strain and like the
Yeah,
little
that's
line,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
That's a big
it's because
thing.
he was
Everybody
like
always talks about
fascinated
it.
with
Yeah.
anatomy. It's almost like you gotta be the craziest human ever to figure out or make advancements in the world, if that makes sense.
No, I mean it because I mean I know this is like corny as shit, but Steve Jobs, a quote that he had was like, only the people who are actually or only the people who are crazy enough to think they can actually change the world are the ones who do, or something like that. So like, so you have to be, I mean, people that I couldn't imagine. I mean, 'cause when I was little, that's what everybody wants to do, is you want to do like, you want to invent something or make something new, or like do some kind of, solve some unsolved case or some bullshit like that. Like you think when you're a kid, you think you can just do that sitting around the house or something. But then you lose that as like so then you still gotta, I don't know, but I don't, I'm just gonna go. I've got a sales meeting at 9:30 in the morning, and then I've got training at 3, and I'm just, I'm settling for that. So
Here, can I leave you with one thing?
what?
I'll leave you with one thing for you, end.
Yeah,
You know McGraw Hill?
like the textbook company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guess who owned it?
Tim McGraw.
Ghislaine Maxwell's dad.
Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Hmm.
Good night, folks.
Ghislaine Maxwell's dad.
Yeah.
Owns
Robert
McGraw
Maxwell,
Hill.
baby.
He also owns Maxwell House. They brew all the coffee in his house, so that's why they call it Maxwell House.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Did you actually think I was being serious for a second?
They own everything. I don't know.
But what does that what does that mean? What's the conspiracy behind Elaine Maxwell's dad owning McGraw Hill? Who's Hill though? Where's the Hill?
He owned the press company. So
Uh,
basically, he was a Mossad agent. Basically, he's
mm,
like an American terrorist, but he owned all the textbooks we grew up on. I found that
we
interesting.
didn't even talk about that. What about the whole like Trump's basically like a week ago he was like, "Why are you guys still talking about Epstein? Like, isn't that old news?" And then obviously he was
Started
kind of
off with this because me and my grandma talked about this for 2 hours, and I could have just yapped the entire time and just spilled my shit. You can't run on a campaign saying that you're going to release this if you get in office, and then as soon as you get in office, you cover it up, and then you just say stop worrying about it. It's funny too how the person who had the files on Epstein, Cash Patel, right?
mm-hmm.
Guess what his girlfriend did before she owned Prager University? Take a wild guess.
She probably was involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
She was in the IDF.
What does that mean? Oh, Israel. Yeah.
Yeah. She was in the IDF. So obviously we knew. Well, I mean, if you actually believe the JFK and Epstein files are coming out, you're probably not the brightest human on earth. But the fact that there's so many connections between like
Yeah.
why it's not going to come out. Like it's if you just open your eyes and just like literally take a toy shovel and just dig into the ground 2 inches, you're gonna know it's never going to come out.
Here's a hot take.
Go ahead.
If they released every letter of the JFK files, everything down to the last letter, no blackouts, no nothing, you could read every inch, it wouldn't mean anything. Wouldn't do anything. I don't think it would. It's not like it's going to solve the mystery. I really don't think it would do that much. Like the Warren court, the Warren Commission, whatever they found back then, maybe. But I feel like if they did genuinely find there was some big cover up, they definitely didn't write it down to be recorded. There's no way.
Oh, I mean that's true, and also I think maybe I said this previously, but ignorance is bliss. A lot of the population can't handle knowing that 95% of the people that they give money to is just like doing corrupt shit. Like that's almost like there's so I honestly don't even want it to come out because 50% of the population can't even handle it. If it did, it would cause Civil War Part Two. And then, like I said, ignorance is bliss. It's almost better just to not know anything, just so you can live your life normally and think everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you figure out that the you're a governor or the people that you thought were fine are actually like doing crazy ass shit, it's almost, I mean, it's literally would cause Civil War Part Two. So I think it's better if it's not out, and I think that's what they're doing because they know it would fuck up America for sure. It would just break from the inside out, call us Rome Part Two, and then move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't it because it's not. I mean the JFK files, and then but I mean Epstein. If it comes out, I mean, what is it? We're at least two sitting presidents, maybe more, maybe Obama, maybe Bush. I don't know. Like it's it's crazy that we're genuinely at two sitting presidents that we know, at least one we know for a fact was there on the island with underage girls, and like not just underage girls, like Bill Clinton was 65 years old out of office and these girls were like 15, and this guy was the president of the United States. It's not like I just I don't know. And it's just like, and Bill Clinton, nobody cares. Nobody cares. He's on TV all the time. Well, not all the time, but anytime he's out in public, he's on TV like nothing ever happened. I just don't, like, I understand moving on from the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. Like, I get it. Like, he had an affair with someone who was of age at work. Like, yeah, shit happens. People make mistakes. Whatever. If anything, that made the public like him more because it made him seem more like normal
Genuine.
almost. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If that makes sense. But that is just something completely different. Completely different on a whole
Take
nother
down
level.
everyone. It would take down Bill Gates. It would take down every scientist that we believe on that's not a paradigm. It would take down basically every politician. It would probably take down our president now. Uh, for the like it, as I'm saying, it would take almost like every piece of the pie would be demolished if this came out.
Yep.
Science is gone, charities are gone, foundations are gone, presidencies are gone. It would tarnish everything. Nobody would believe anything. And then, like I said, it call us Rome Part Two, call Trump Nero, and then fucking just we all die and then fucking move on. Part of
Yeah.
history.
Well, I
That's why
mean,
it cannot come out. And people that actually thought it was going to come out are dead ass brain dead.
no. No.
So I just I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I
It's
agree
dumb.
with you 100% about that.
And people that are saying that Trump's using it to reverse blackmail
Reverse blackmail who?
the deep state. Trump has never played 4D chess in his life. I hate the 4D chess argument.
I hate
He's not playing
I
4D
hate
chess. He's
the
fucking bought out the
term
shit. He's
4D
fucking,
chess anyway. I think that's stupid. 4D chess.
I'm saying people are believing into someone who's bought out, and that is, like I said, I don't know. We don't know. He's corrupt for sure. Um, it was just every president that we had that we look back and we're like, oh, he was good, oh, he was bad, but he still had something. He did this, he did that. It would all be tarnished if this came out because they all were involved in this little Mossad ring of trafficking, this. So it cannot come out. It can't come out.
Well, I mean, did you see like even today? I mean, obviously nothing to the extent of Epstein, but there was a the video of the Prime Minister of the UK, the President of France, and I think it was Germany's new Chancellor were on a plane and they like opened the door to talk to him and they didn't know that they were going to open the door and they literally had coke out on the table and they just like and they just like slid it under the I mean so it's like
Yeah, that's
people in
awesome though.
power I mean exactly like stuff like that is cool not cool well I don't okay I this is going on YouTube I'm I might edit that part out but
Too many
anyway
nose beers.
do what
Too many nose beers.
too many but but no, I mean it's just like people in power aren't perfect. Like they're not I don't know, nobody's perfect, but you can't it's one thing to do coke, it's one thing to have an affair with an intern, it's another thing to be, on an island and trafficking children. Like it's and but nobody cares. That's it's like I just it blows my mind. I really don't.
Well, I think people do care, but they it's almost
The
okay.
right
So I
people
think
don't care.
yeah, well, I think I said this on my kick stream where it was just me. I was like, we're such like an entertainment country to where like, let's say we do start caring about this, they drop one thing over here, we all sprint to this,
Hmm.
right? So like we okay, for example, the protest or no. I'm trying to think of the timeline. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The protests in California, military's going out there, everyone look, protests. Oh my gosh, California, no kings, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk says Trump's on Epstein. We all sprint from protests. Nobody fucking gives a fuck about that. Sprint to the fucking Trump and Elon Epstein list thing. And then fucking Iran happens.
And
We
Trump and
sprint from
Elon make up.
exactly. So we sprint to that. They make up while we're over here worrying about what's going on here. We come back. Oh, this is fixed. This is fixed. This isn't going on. We're such an entertainment country that we can't even focus on one thing for more than 2 days because we want to care. Like we want more. It's almost greedy. It's like we want more. Like what's crazier than protests with military shooting rubber bullets?
Well,
Oh
I
wait,
mean,
Elon just said Trump's cooked.
it's
Okay, we run there. Oh wait, now we're shooting missiles. We got to run here.
yeah.
It's just a
Well,
rabbit
and
chase.
like exactly your point. Nobody gives a fuck about Ukraine anymore. I mean, we talked about it, but no, I mean that's been like you said. That's old news. That's way gone. There's been a million things happen since then. Nobody gives a shit about that. But
Yeah, and that was 2 months
then
ago.
when that happened months ago,
Like it's just like that's just how it is. It's just we're so entertainment based that like we just forget about the shit that we really cared about in the moment. Love Island comes out, we're sprinting there.
and the people that
So
aren't sprinting there to watch it, just sprinting there to tweet about how bad it is and try to get impressions. It's I don't know. It's it's so funny. I see the same tweet like literally probably 5 times a week, and it's just people. Somebody will tweet it and it gets 20,000, and then somebody will take it and theirs gets 45, and then somebody else will take it and theirs only gets like 5,000, and then the next person will take it and it gets like 250. It's
yeah, and then Vivek is talking about H1Bs and then
yeah yeah
and then the New York City mayor was, I don't know. That's what I'm saying though. It's like we always chase like all the shit that's in the news that
yeah
we can't remember what happened 4 days ago when we were huge on it. It's super dumb. That's why no, I think people do care, but as soon as another big thing drops, it's not, we're not even gonna remember it. We might, but they won't.
yeah yeah. Well, in
But
the in like I mean media cycles, nobody cares, right? If it's been, if it's not gonna be something that's gonna cause somebody to watch, nobody cares. Like people are after a certain point, it doesn't matter how important something is, people get tired of hearing about it.
yeah,
Or they hear about something for so long that, maybe they don't believe in it at first. Maybe they think it's not necessarily bullshit, but they're not really bought in. And they hear it over and over and over and over again, and then eventually they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I sure.
yeah, it's just like it's like classical conditioning. It's like if you hammer somebody with something, the same thing, they're gonna end up converting. But also
Which
the same thing happens if you overdo it and you keep doing it, then it almost like it gives you like fatigue and
Yeah.
then you just like almost like just despise it so much that you want to stop hearing it that you from where you were.
I think a lot of people that were that loved listening to Trump talk are that way now, where they used to like. I mean, but at a certain point, I mean, it's the year 2025 now. He's been running presidential campaigns for a decade. He he literally just says the same five things over and over and over and over. And you can say that about any politician, sure, but to him it's a different extent of that. Like I mean, some politicians have their phrases that they come back to, but everything he says is a phrase that he comes back to. Everything.
Took away 1 out of 5 when it came out that they covered up the whole Epstein shit, and that's literally his whole campaign was run on that. It was against anti-corruption. If you put me in office, we're gonna get the JFK files and the Epstein files. He ran off of that, and then as soon as you get your dumb ass in and you win the majority vote, what do? Why are we still talking about it? You fucking ran on it, dude.
Well, and
Are you an
he
idiot?
he runs on, the all the popular almost shit that's just in like pop culture. He runs on stuff like that. Just I mean, he's a populist candidate supposedly, but he runs on just kind of exactly what you were saying. How the news cycle goes from week to week to not even week to week. It's hour to hour at this point. But he's the exact same way. He's like the wind. He's over here one day, and then he's over here. I mean, I don't know. It's like on. Well, I mean, I could give the number one example that comes to mind is abortion. I don't know how many times he's flip flopped on that and said he would sign a ban, he wouldn't sign a ban. He doesn't know. Which I understand that you can't definitively say if a document comes to my desk that's 55 pages long, I'll sign it. Like you can't just say that to the media because you don't know what exactly is going to be in it. So I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, you have to when you're as much of a hammer down type person as he is, you got to pick a side. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, what do you think about the big beautiful bill?
To be honest, I mean, every president has like one huge spending bill. I feel like, and so I just I he wouldn't have done this in. And if you notice, most presidents' big spending bills come in their second term, not their first. Biden's
They
came in
came.
his first, and he wasn't reelected. So that maybe now Trump didn't do it in his first term. Well, but at the end with COVID, you can argue whether or not that was. I mean, that was a lot of spending, but whether it was necessary, I don't know. Necessary is define necessary. I don't know. We could go down that loophole for like 5 hours. I don't know, but the
Yeah, I'm just glad for the big beautiful bill that we actually came to a partisan agreement that non-regulation of AI is bad. I'm just so. Did you see what happened?
no,
That was in the bill where they were like, we're not going to regulate AI for the love of God. That's what it was in. So okay, here's my thing. The big beautiful bill had a lot of good in it, but there's a lot of ass in it. So basically, it's like let's say I will give you $100 million, but once a month I get to beat the fuck out of you whenever I want, right? You get to survive, but so you get this financial freedom, but I get to beat the fuck out of you. That's basically what the bill was. It's like, okay, here's some good, but I'm gonna sneak in some really fucking bad. So basically, the Senate saw that he didn't want AI to be regulated in every state, and they voted 99-1 in a partisan agreement to remove that from the bill, which I'm so fucking grateful for.
yeah, 99 to 1. I mean, that's you can't.
So then that's the most partisan besides fucking Antarctica that we've been in fucking 20 years. Because it's so fucking bad. He tried sneaking that in the bill because he wants fucking his AI technocrat vice president to fucking blowjob and surveil every fucking American. He tried sneaking that in the bill. And then thank God that Democrats and Republicans came together, voted 99-1 to kick it out of the fucking bill. So shout out the Senate in that fucking aspect. But what are you looking up?
I'm just looking up all the shit that was supposedly in the bill, but it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, to me, like on BBC. They're just saying so. Yeah, it passed 218 to 214 on Thursday.
Oh
Um,
yeah, JD Vance broke the tie.
yeah, that was in the Senate, but then it had to go to the House, right?
I don't know
Or did it
the
go to the
executive
House
branch first, which
first?
might be bad on my part, but I truly don't. I don't really care to be honest. But
I think yeah. It was in the Senate first and then to the House. And some bills are it just depends on I think it depends on the type of bill. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But so a lot of it seems like to me was tax cuts. It was mostly all tax cuts and then
but then you sneak in like this little like don't regulate AI, but here's the good. Don't regulate AI whatsoever, right? Just slip it in there under a
supposedly
bunch.
we're supposed to save almost $1 trillion over the next decade from Medicaid on this bill and another
We cut like 16 million people off of it, so that probably makes sense.
yeah.
Which I don't know, like I don't want to say if that's good or bad because I don't know who was being cut off of it, but I'm also the biggest like if you're not a member of society, then fuck you. But that could be a ruthless take. But
Yeah. No, well, did you see where Trump tweeted let Palm Bandy let Pam Bondi do her job. Don't waste time and energy on Epstein. He just tweeted that.
let her do her job, but that's the only thing she said in 2 years. Yeah, let her do her job, but that's the only fucking reason why she was in the cabinet is because she's like Epstein. Oh, we're gonna get it. We have 6 million hours of footage. So dumb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like either she was either telling the truth then. It was the same thing with Trump. Like either they were telling the truth back then or they're telling the truth now, but it can't be both. Like there's no
Definitely back then.
can't be both ways. Yeah, no,
If
I
you have 200, if you have $200 million of friends of people that are on the fucking list, it's not going to come out. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
And people that don't recognize that are, I mean, probably not the smartest human beings. Probably shouldn't be able to vote, but
I
it's not like voting
still
matters anyway.
I still think no, it's not because the same person not the same person.
Whoever they want
That
in is
made it
going to get
sound like
in.
there's a front man in the back room running everything. But the
Yeah.
they're the same, you know, class of people. Like the upper class runs the country, regardless of who the president is.
Larry Fink runs the country.
What?
Larry Fink. You don't know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is. Who is that?
BlackRock. He basically
Oh,
saved America
okay.
during COVID. So he bought a shit ton of shares to boost the stock market when it was down 30%. And basically, Trump had to go to him and beg for him to save America's economy. So he did. And he owns 80% of the S&P and 500 stakeholder positions. So he owns quote unquote every S&P 500 company, and he also saved America. So he's making decisions, but nobody likes to talk about that.
Well, I mean, you know, it's like it's the same shit as J.P. Morgan 100 years ago. If you have the money,
It's the exact same. You're
yeah,
100%
if you
right.
have
It's
the
the
money, you're
exact same
making
thing.
the you have the money, you're making the decisions. Which that's the you know back a long time ago, it wasn't politicians didn't have the money. You know, it was people of just
The bankers, the
whoever
railroaders.
whoever worked the hardest. But now it's more like whoever gets the luckiest. I don't know. It's weird. It's an odd. I don't know. It.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just like even just in the job market in general, the shift from you know, I mean, real jobs. Not that jobs that aren't real jobs, but the shift from being out doing something to just half the jobs you see you're just sitting at home on your computer doing something. So it's
Yeah.
I mean it's wild to me that and there's no more pensions aren't a thing anymore. It just doesn't. I don't know. It's just not at all the same. Which nothing can ever be the same forever. Like obviously there's going to be change, but you would like for the change to be improvement, not
Digression.
yeah, exactly.
No, 100, yeah, 100%. It's just inflation's always going to go up. Whoever they want in office is going to be in office. You're just gonna have to shut the fuck up and either try to beat the system or lose to the system, and that's I don't know. You have to. I don't know. It feels like the only way to get up is to do bad. If that makes sense. You like the more unethical you are,
Yeah.
the more chance you are to climb a certain ladder.
Yeah, well, because it's just you know, when you get to the when you get that high up and people are, you know, clawing for power, it's a I stab you in the back for this, and then I'm gonna stab the guy in the back that I just helped to help this new guy who's gonna give me a better deal than him. You know, it's just it's all scheming and maneuvering, and it's all politics. And some people love that, and some people I don't know. I like it, but you know, and it's interesting. Like to discuss, and also it's never going anywhere. Like it's not somebody who thinks that somehow somebody's going to come around and fix the government and it's going to be run perfectly. Like no, even the no government's ever been run perfectly in the history of the world.
Elon's third party, the American Party.
There's no such thing as rule without corruption, in my opinion. There's no such thing. Like, you can be a good ruler, but there's no way you can genuinely have power over something like as vast as a country and not be corrupt in at least like one small way. Like, there's no way you've done everything perfect and you haven't done anything wrong. Like that, it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to corruption is power, and if you uh, if you actually try to like neutralize or mediate a situation, you just get called pussy in the media, and then you have to do something. You have to choose a side. So it makes you have to make a decision that you don't really want to based on beliefs, like for Woodrow Wilson, like where he didn't want to go to war. But then the media was basically like he's a fucking pussy, get him out, he sucks, bring in Teddy Roosevelt. And then he had to choose a side. Obviously, we went to war. It's just one of those things where it's like, even if you're running on something that might be perfect, where you're kind of like a mediator, like try to fix this, you're gonna get backlash from 90% of the people that to get you into a second term have to like you. So then you have to withstand what they want.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Although Teddy Roosevelt was president like 15 years before Woodrow Wilson.
No, but he reran in 1916, I think, and he died mid-campaign run.
I thought it was in. I thought he reran. He didn't run against Woodrow Wilson, did he?
He ran and he ran against Woodrow and Taft.
I know he ran.
He,
Yeah, okay.
he was in the Bull Moose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He lost big time and then reran, or he was going to rerun, and he was actually going to get the presidency, but he died in 1915.
So he was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me see this. Where's the. Okay. Second.
He was going to win 1916, but he died in 1915 or 1919, 19. It's one of those two. I think I'm right though.
Election of 1904. Yeah, second term. And then post
So
presidency.
I think 1920. It was after the war. He died in night. Look, did he die in 1919?
But let's
I
see.
can look.
Election of 1912. Yeah, okay, that's what okay. So did he run against
Yes, okay. Oh yeah, I got it. So he died in 1919. He was gonna win the presidency in 1920. He was like guaranteed. He was the most favored person in America, and he fucking died like 2 months before the election because everyone hated Woodrow Wilson.
the scheduled Wilson won. He campaigned energetically. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So he declined. Yeah,
What do
he
you got?
died January 5th, 1919, but he never unless I'm just like blind and can't read, I don't think he ever ran a campaign against Woodrow Wilson.
No, so he hated Woodrow
He
Wilson.
did
He
hate
was
him,
gonna
and he attacked his
Yeah, so he
14
was gonna
points.
run in 1920. He was gonna win the presidency, and he died in 1919 because his son died in World War One, and he got super depressed and wouldn't leave his house. Then he died of a blood clot.
Okay, okay. So they asked him to run for governor of New York, and he declined. And then his health was kind of getting bad, and they wanted him
So,
to run in 1920. Yeah, okay. So I see
to
that.
win, like he was favorable to win that presidency
Well, Woodrow Wilson, yeah, like I said, the only reason Woodrow Wilson even won in the first place was because fucking Teddy Roosevelt split the Republicans in half. Um,
You can't kill a bull moose.
apparently, well, the crazy that speech where he was literally he was shot in
Just
the chest and he kept going. Yeah,
Yeah, and he kept a bullet in him,
yeah,
and then he went to the Amazon and almost died.
yep,
I know my Teddy. That's my goat.
yeah. He was succeeded. Okay, yeah, by Taft, and then yeah, and then Woodrow Wilson was well. Number one, he wasn't even like actually making decisions for a large part of his presidency. His wife was. Well, I wouldn't say a large part, like 2 years, because he was like medically incapacitated.
From what?
Strokes. He had a
I
lot of
didn't know that.
strokes. Yeah.
I don't know anything about Woodrow
His
besides he looks like a Giga Chad low key.
he's extremely racist, very racist. He showed KKK propaganda films in the White House on multiple occasions. Um, and he like basically he would argue that he was. A lot of people argue that he was progressive, and you know, I guess you could argue from a economic and geopolitical point of view maybe he was progressive, but certainly not from a social point of view. He wasn't anywhere close to progressive. He was an absolutely horrible person. Which a lot of people were back then, and a lot of people are today, but he was just not a yeah, no, he was not a good dude. Yeah, okay, so in 1912 he defeated Taft and Teddy Roosevelt. Yes.
Yep.
And then in 1916, he ran against Charles Hughes. In 1917 April, Wilson asked Congress for a declaration of war against Germany in response to the submarine warfare that sank American merchant ships. Um, and then he wanted the off-year elections of 1918 to be a referendum. After the Allied victory, Wilson attended the peace conference. League of Nations. That's what's so yeah. Wilson had intended to seek a third term in office, but had a stroke in 1919 that left him incapacitated. Um, his wife controlled Wilson, and no significant decisions were made. Meanwhile, his policies alienated German and Irish American Democrats, and the Republicans won a landslide in 1920. So yeah, Teddy Roosevelt would have won in 1920 if he ran. But what I'm seeing is like literally they could have ran me in 1920 and won because Woodrow Wilson was just that bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but people wanted to go to war so bad that they liked how Teddy was campaigning about going to war.
No,
So
yeah,
then it's
when he
flipped
was
him as the
yeah,
favorite in the primary,
yeah,
but then he just fucking died because his son died and he got super depressed and wouldn't leave the house. But that's my goat, carry the big stick, and
yeah.
takes more than that to kill a
Yeah,
bull
see, I
moose.
don't know. There's a guy I watch on YouTube that's read like 50 billion. He's read every book there is on Teddy Roosevelt, but I don't know that much about him. Like other
Yeah, I'm a
than
big
just the
I'm a
book.
big Teddy, JP Morgan, big
Yeah,
Rome guy. That's about it. But
those are three things I know. Like, well, I know a decent amount about Rome, but I know more about Rome from the perspective of when they conquered Britain, like when they were in Britain. I don't know much about like Rome. I know about like the baths. There's a town in England called Bath, and it's this really cool place, and it's just called Bath because that's where the Romans put the biggest bathtub. So
Yeah, that would have been Augustus Octavian. I think he was the one who did that.
yeah, Octavian and then Caesar. Caesar was in England at some point, but I don't
He
remember.
was just banging Cleopatra, and then they had a son, but then his son was killed off by a dude named after Caesar, who was Caesar's nephew. That's a whole connection. That's another episode. But
Cleopatra?
yeah, they were banging
I thought Cleopatra lived in like
Egypt.
the 1600s.
No, well, I mean, no. Cleopatra?
Yeah.
No, Cleopatra was banged by Caesar, or Caesar banged her, had a kid, and then it was killed off by Caesar's nephew.
Cleopatra. Oh, okay. Cleopatra was. Yeah, no.
16.
You're right. No, she was. Yeah,
Her
and
and
then
George Washington were
she was
fucking.
with Pompey too.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I
Come
see.
on, Charlie.
Yeah, dude, I haven't. See, I like the whole
Oh
like the
my.
TV show Rome is really good, but I haven't watched it. Have you watched
I
it?
don't know how accurate it is, but no, I don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's on HBO, but apparently it's really really good.
That's like the
It's
one I don't have. All I
long.
know is there's a lot of connections in Rome too, which I like. That's why I like histories that you can connect shit.
Mhm.
There's a lot of connections in Rome that I like, whether to the Bible or to today, like Marcus Aurelius or Paul the Apostle and Seneca and Nero, like all that stuff. I just love it. It's just so many connections.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Nero was.
Library of Alexandria, which could be the Vatican. You never heard, have you heard of that?
I haven't heard that it could be the Vatican. No, I haven't heard
The
that.
fake burning. I don't think it lines up geographically, but it is kind of a cool theory.
I couldn't. I
My
mean,
neighbor believes it.
could you imagine like being there and seeing them burn that whole all that? I mean, imagine if that would. I mean, like, imagine how much shit was in there that we could know now that we don't. I mean, there could be. Who knows what was in there?
That's where it comes down to the Vatican probably has all of it and it was a fake burning so they can move it. And that probably does make sense because it's Roman Catholicism. And then you have like if you actually look up
Now that I
like
actually do know a
how
lot about Roman Catholicism, but
yeah, so if you actually look up how the library burned, it won't tell you like one instance. There's like somehow 40 different times that it burned, which makes it seem more sus that they just moved that shit to a different location. Like it would be like Caesar's cannonball, but then that didn't stop it, and then Civil War happened, but then another Civil War happened, and then it's actually crazy. Like
um,
Caesar fired a cannonball from the Navy that somehow hit it. It doesn't really line up.
since it's
But
destruction.
I'm not saying I believe that the Vatican is that, but it is kind of interesting.
I the I love the lighthouse at Alexandria. The lighthouse is so cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Library of Alex. One of my favorite paintings, I forget what it's called. Fuck, what's it? One of my favorite paintings is that, and it's Caesar's statue with the shield, and it's like on like his something like his arms off. I'll send you the picture. I fucking love it. But someone painted that during like the Romantic era to represent Alexandria and the civil wars in Rome. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
So after Caesar's death, it was generally believed that it was he who had destroyed the library. But Caesar had a habit of
Propaganda.
if something cool happened and he wasn't the one who did it, he didn't care. He would take credit for it and write it down anyway.
Yep, 100%. He
So
was a propaganda. So was Octavian, or so was
yeah.
Augustus Octavian. He was the same way.
So I don't know. Probably not. It probably wasn't Caesar. It was probably somebody close to Caesar, maybe, but probably
I
wasn't
think
him.
Caesar even. Why would he want to take credit for burning it? Because I thought he was a part of it. So I don't. That's why I'm saying it doesn't
Well,
line up. That
they okay.
because they say a random cannonball hit it and set it on fire,
Well, what
but then they
I'm
say
seeing is okay. This says that Caesar. So basically, they were kind of stuck in the harbor, and the Egyptian fleet was like surrounding them. And Caesar had his men set fire to the Egyptian ships, but then the fire got out of control and
Yeah, that
spread to the city, which included the warehouse and the depot, and then like obviously
yeah,
the
but somehow that was
library.
one of 20 instances where it burned.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
That's where it's. I mean, I don't know.
If the
It is
great
crazy
number
to
is
think
reasons.
about. Let's say it did. How much shit from like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Seneca, Epicurus, Dante that we would all know from that time period because we all of Rome's sources, there's like no primary sources. It's all secondary from people that got conquered by Rome. That's
Yeah.
how we know what it is today. So imagine we actually had primary sources of like what like each emperor was this, how big it actually was. Because like I said, it's probably just a propaganda
Well, you
machine.
want to know
Like
what's
it does
funny? I
what?
think a funny point about that, you said imagine if we had like every emperor was actually doing, we had their words instead of just who was conquered by Rome or who conquered Rome later. But that's that's why Caesar is more popular than anybody else is because we actually have his words and his words are well known and he said I did this and I did that and I was the first here and I was the first there
Yeah.
and everything. And it's so like, I think that's exactly right. Like that's part of the reason he's as popular as he is because he actually we get to learn about him through his own words, which is not. I mean, recently that's pretty normal, but not back then. That
I'm
wasn't
saying
a.
there was way better emperors. Well, maybe not better than Caesar. I don't know. Like I said, let's just fall into his propaganda. Like Marcus Aurelius is another famous one. He didn't do. He just had primary sources from Rome that they got and translated. Like he didn't do anything. Like Nero, like we don't know anything about Nero, and he was like a. They thought he was the Antichrist back in 80, 70.
Yeah, no, they. I
We
mean,
don't know anything about him.
I Nero from the standpoint. Well, I know he castrated a boy and turned that boy. He had him like dressed up in makeup and everything to look like his late wife who had died, and he literally like turned this boy into her and made her pretend to be, or made him pretend to be his ex-wife until the boy died. It was like and a lot of people called in Henry VIII's time, a lot of people called him the English Nero because you know, they thought he did things that were very similar. Like they were both just known as they never thought about anyone but themselves ever, which is literally the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be as a king, but or an emperor or whatever. And that's what you're saying is like there's so many better emperors that we don't know anything about and that maybe just did nothing. But a lot of times, as especially back then, a king that did nothing were sometimes best the best ones because they deferred to people that they knew better. Like they
Yeah,
didn't think that they knew everything. They had a group of people around their table and asked each and every one of them, "What do you think about this?" And they genuinely took their advice. But then when you
yeah,
see the ones that thought that they knew everything, that was a big thing with Henry VIII. He had this big habit of he would tell everyone how to do everything, even if he had not a fucking clue about it. I mean, he didn't have any clue about probably 75% of the shit that came out of his mouth. But if you listened to him talk, you would have thought he was an expert. And if you didn't listen to him and if you didn't do it exactly the way he said, then, after a certain point, it was off with your head. But before, he would. That's a, anyway, I could go into Henry VIII for a long time. But it's a common misconception that he was just like cut off your head from the very beginning. He was a very chill dude until he was like 45 and then he had an accident. But anyway,
yeah. I
um,
find it. Well, I don't know. I don't know if like so Henry VIII. I'm guessing was like his father was a king before him.
he was. Yeah, his father,
Yeah.
but his
So
father
for
took England by conquest, like by right. His father didn't inherit the throne, or sorry, his father didn't inherit the throne by right. He took it by conquest.
gotcha. Okay. So like for Nero, this is what I find interesting is Same thing for Alexander the Great. They were both mentored by the best and most like what's the word? Like the best, nicest, I guess you can say. Like there's better
I
adjectives,
know
but
what
like,
you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah. So Nero was mentored by Seneca, who was a fantastic dude, and Marcus Aurelius, who's known as the few good emperors, or like the four good
Yeah.
emperors. Alexander the
Yeah.
Great was mentored by Aristotle,
Yeah.
but those two dudes just turned out to be demons that wanted to expand as far as possible, but they were mentored by like the best philosophical people like on earth.
Well,
So
and
I find that fast. Like, how do you turn into
that's
that?
it's exactly. I mean, Henry VIII, Thomas More was his, sort of mentor when he was younger, and they called themselves humanists because they were, they genuinely thought that they did everything that was in the best interest of the human race. And Thomas More genuinely did. He was probably like, from writings and letters and things that I've read, like he might be as true of like a Christian as you could ever get. Like he did not care about anything else. Literally any, obviously he cared about everything, but he didn't care about anything else. So, and Henry VIII took his head eventually because he had him um he wanted him to submit and sign a document that said Henry VIII was the new supreme head of the church and it was no longer the Pope. And he said no. And as he died, he was on the about to, you know, get ended. And he said, I come to die as the king's good servant, but as God's first, is what he said, I think. And he just,
I'll have to look him up. Thomas More.
Thomas More. He was
I'll have to
a
look him up.
yeah, no,
So you,
exactly the same thing with Henry VIII. They all had great. I mean, Henry VIII. See, that's the thing. He was raised. He was the second son. He was not originally supposed to be the heir to the throne. His older brother died when he was like 19. So Henry VIII was raised to be a member of the church. He was going to be, the Archbishop of York, or something like that. He was going to be a very high position in the Catholic Church. So that's how he was raised. And Thomas More was literally like, not necessarily his number one tutor. His number one tutor was a guy named Thomas Wolsey, who acted a little bit more. He was a bullshitter. He was one of those people in the church where he acted like he was holy, but he was taking money and, in brothels and doing, everything you could possibly do wrong. But Thomas More was the complete opposite of that. He was like a saint. Like literally, I think they literally have like Thomas More Day, like still, that they celebrate in like England the day that he
I'll
died.
have to research him. But it's funny. It was funny you say that he killed off his mentor because Nero killed off Seneca
Hmm.
because he thought Seneca was conspiring against his reign. That's also it's there's a connection right there. It's like you're getting
Exactly.
mentored by like one of the best dudes ever. You turn out to be the antichrist, the English antichrist, or whatever you said. They
Hmm.
thought Nero's antichrist. They thought him the English
Oh, a
antichrist or
lot
whatever.
of people genuinely thought he was the Antichrist. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul the apostle thought Nero was the antichrist, and he was calling for God to come back in Second Timothy. He was like, Jesus, please come back,
Yeah.
because that's when the second temple got anyway. Rabbit hole. But it's funny. It mentored, same thing. Henry VIII mentored by good dudes. They turned out to be the two worst, and then killed off their mentor. So I mean, I just find it fascinating. I love
Well,
history.
and
I need to
like
get better on it.
I was talking about how Henry VIII was genuinely a pretty chill dude up until he had that accident, but he actually had Thomas More and Thomas Wolsey. But well, Thomas Wolsey, he committed suicide, but um, Thomas More, he had him executed before he even had that accident that messed with his head. So that was, I mean, even it was, and then afterwards he regretted it. There were several accounts of him talking to people and it being written down, and him writing in letters even to, I think it was Anne Boleyn. He wrote letters to talking about how he regretted it. So yeah, it was. That's the coolest thing about Henry VIII is, I mean, you can literally, like, if you wanted to, you could find out what he ate every day for an entire month, like detailed, if you wanted. Like, his everything from that time period is so detailed and so well documented. The letters that he wrote and I mean, it's just fascinating. And the medical stuff, I mean, at the end, and they covered that up for so long. You know, they said he died in his sleep. He died screaming. They covered that up for 400 years. I mean, it was like it's fascinating, really crazy.
Yeah. Anything else you got, or
No,
I'm
I
good,
mean,
honestly.
I'm ready to wrap it up. Yeah, we've been going an hour and a half. Yeah, we done. Yeah,
There we go. That's
no,
better than the last one.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we done good. I'm gonna post this in the morning, so you guys should be seeing this on Monday, Monday morning. Well, probably Monday afternoon. I've got a lot of shit in the morning, but I'll probably get it posted by the afternoon. So yeah, but no,
Catch you, Charlie.
that's been this episode of this week. So y'all have a good one. See ya. Catch ya.
See you, brother.
Catch you
Yep.
later.